It's not that I don't want you here. It's something about the way you stare into my.
Hi, my name is Rosalind,
I'm Brian.
and this is The Overflow, where we talk about marriage, relationships that are not marriage, and everything in between. We're sharing from a space of our overflow, hoping that lessons that we're learning and the wisdom that we've garnered throughout the years are able to help others.
Yep, that's what we're here to do.
And hopefully build a community of people who we can lean on to.
Yeah, we want to have an open conversation, create a safe space. We are not experts. We are just people sharing from our experiences.
Yep.
But
We usually like to start with a what did you learn this week? What did you learn this week, babe?
That my emotions and my feelings. Well, first, there is no good or bad feelings. All feelings are necessary. And that feeling, especially like feeling fear, it just means it's important. Like when you're feeling fear, it means something is important to you, because that's what fear is for. You know, and then don't beat yourself up for like being too afraid to do things. You know, thank your brain,
For highlighting.
for keeping me safe, because your brain is supposed to keep you safe from danger.
Yeah.
You say, hey, thank you, brain, for keeping me safe, but I got it. I'm okay, I got it, and then we can go from there. I don't have to be afraid.
I like that.
Yeah.
Fear is just showing you what's important to you.
And that's all it is. What do you learn this week?
I have learned this week to get out of the way. So if y'all know anything about an anxious attachment style, it is very in the way. It is let me step in and help. Let me step in and fix. Let me step in to force everything to be okay. And in my healing journey and in my quest, and it's a quest of becoming more securely attached, or having a more secure attachment to just life, which sometimes comes with a healthy detachment. I have learned to get out the way. Whether it's my husband, I see he is going through emotional growth, mental growth, and things that maybe I have already learned a lesson in, or that I can see because I'm not an empath. I was a child who needed to be hypervigilant. There is a difference. And so I see where he's at, where he needs to be, that exact lesson that he's learning right now, right? Mentally, emotionally, sometimes I can tell him before he realizes what he's feeling. I have to get out the way, because in those lessons, that's where the confidence is. And if I'm telling him all the time what he feels, one, it's not going to be received well. But two,
Yeah, but hey man, you're angry. Oh, you're angry. You know, or you're frustrated. You're really frustrated.
you're shutting down, or you're not being honest yet. You know, because we have to be honest with ourselves first.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you go through a moment of like denial, right? You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, and in turn, you're lying to me. Like, if I can see that, I have to get out the way, because I trust him to work it out, and he does, and he has been working it out, going through the process, going things that I can recognize almost immediately because of my hypervigilance. I'm not an empath, and I think so many people who think they're an empath, not an empath. You were raised in an environment where you have to be highly aware of the emotional status and state of everyone around you, so that you could have been a safe child. And that was me. And I'm highly empathetic, especially if I'm this close to you. I can read you fairly well, or I make assumptions that could be wrong. I gotta get out the way and ask questions, get out the way and give him space. And even with other adults in my life, I need to get out the way and let them just work stuff out, because again, in those lessons come confidence. And when we step in the way and fix, and we step in the way and do for people who 9 times out of 10 they didn't even ask us, y'all. If you're anything like me, they didn't ask. They didn't ask. But it's your anxious attachment, it's my anxious attachment that steps in to say, I see you're struggling in this, I got it. I'll do for you so you don't have to struggle. One, you're not earning love like you think you are. 2, no one asked. And 3, you're pouring in a way where you're not likely, if that dynamic is as codependent as I've witnessed in my life, you're not getting poured back into in that way either. And so get out the way. Even for my son, I watched him hurt himself so many times this past week. So many. I saw him
busted both knees,
scraped his shin, knocked his head. Like, he just was doing a lot. I mean, when they warn boy moms, like, I was not ready, and he's only sick. Like, we're not even at the broken bones, and pray to God, like, we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I never had a broken bone, so hopefully.
Yeah, I broke my wrist twice. Well, I broke my wrist, and then I broke my hand.
And you broke your face. You got that scar coming through your.
I didn't break my face.
You didn't break your face, but you could have.
Yeah, I should have been dead, but that's another story.
Anyways, even to get out the way, I've seen that video recirculating, that sound where the mom was like, "It's hot on the bottom." She's holding a pot. She goes, "It's hot on the bottom," and the kid keeps trying to grab the pot from the bottom. It's hot on the bottom. Keeps. And after the 3rd time of saying it, as a gentle parent, as a conscious parent, I believe she should have let him touch it. I don't think she should have let it go. But I mean, he was a teenager in the video. I believe she should have let him touch it.
His
like,
brain wasn't working.
He wasn't listening.
He wasn't listening.
You learn a lesson and you're getting instructions. You need to listen. And so, like, as a gentle parent, as a conscious parent, we believe in natural consequences.
Here you go.
There are natural. We have to get out the way and let natural consequences happen, because I guarantee you, next time you see someone holding a pot, he gonna be like, "Is that hot?" You know, like, we believe in letting natural consequences happen. Get out the way, and some adults in your life need to have those natural consequences happen in order for them to learn that lesson, learn those lessons, and to grow and have confidence. Because you steal those lessons, you still have future confidence too.
I'll say this too, when just to add what you're saying about, like, what I can see that you're doing, and it is better for me, because let's say, like, she's hyper vigilant about my emotions, right? And she may say something, and my body language is off. My body language is, I'm frowning, I'm like, oh, you know, and then instead of her thinking I'm frustrated with her about what she said, she gives me a chance to express my thought, and I'm like, well, I'm thinking about, you know, how this is maybe causing me, like, some level of stress. I'm thinking about some other situation, or how that may affect me in this way, but it had nothing to do with her. So where maybe she would have got offended by my body language, or interpreting it as I'm not caring about what she's saying, or frustrated. She's seeing my emotion and then asking me about it, instead of just assuming my emotion is about her, which helps me feel like, okay, she's seeing me, not dissecting me, you know, telling me how I'm feeling.
That's part of getting out the way.
Yeah, so that it has helped. But this week episode, we're talking about
impact versus intentions.
Impact versus intentions.
That's a big one.
Yes.
That's a big one in all relationship dynamics.
Yeah, in all areas of your relationship. Because I think whether you're trying to love somebody, whether you're trying to help, or just explain, right? The way we say or communicate, like, I can have all the best intentions, but my impact and my actions can be all taken from, you know, it can be very impactful or very like it was nothing, you know. But I gotta make sure
And it could be very impactful in the opposite way that you intended.
Yes, not the way you intended.
Which
Yes.
I think is more the focus of this, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is just you intended something positive and the impact was negative and
Yeah.
navigating that.
Yes.
'Cause, I mean, there's-
What?
I'm just saying that's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing. It is a thing. Like I think one time I intended. I'll tell you what, from when we were first together. When we were like, I'm talking about way back, like I think 08 or something like that. I got you some flowers. I got you some flowers and stuff. And I think I drove my granddad's car, but I think the tags were expired or something. It was something like that. And what did I say? I said something to you. But I intended to like surprise her with this gift, right? But I told like a white lie. Like I said, hey man, I came here, but I forgot what I white lied about. I think I lied about like how I got there. You know, I think that was the case. She's like, well, how'd you get here? And I'm like, well, I got here through a ride. Somebody gave me a ride. And that wasn't the point. But my intent to like surprise her got taken as like, why are you lying to me?
I can't remember.
You remember that?
No.
You don't remember that?
No, but I have caught him in a lot of like little white lies, especially like early in our relationship. And the intention was always just to make sure we had a peaceful, fun, happy
like,
time.
don't worry about it.
And every time I've caught it ruined the entire.
Boy, yes. So I've learned it's better just to be truthful and not try to just block your feelings or try to control how you feel in that sense, like control the atmosphere, because I think it's gonna bother you. I'd rather just let you say, hey man, she gonna be annoyed, but I think you've grown way more than that, so and I've become way more secure. I don't have to like white lie, but I did, because that was a family origin thing. That's what we did. Like, hey, you don't need to worry about it.
Lie to just shut everybody up and keep it moving.
Yeah, you'd be like, bro, don't worry about
I'm
it. You got
asking
it.
questions, and it needs to make sense.
Say, don't worry about that.
Make it make sense. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna ask more questions.
You have more questions. I'm like, hey, yo, that's what would be frustrating. You'll be like, look, the flowers or the gift or whatever it
As I'm
was.
cutting the stems and making the water, I'm asking questions. Like, what?
I still don't understand. How'd you get here? How you got here?
Yeah.
I'm like, but my intention was to do something good, but the impact of my white lie caused distress, caused you to feel like I was being manipulative. That was just a small situation where like the impact of my actions.
Yeah, I think even like going back to what I learned this week and revisiting that lesson of like getting out the way, that is one thing where I have to put my intentions to the side, because the impact is going to be a longer lasting negative than I intend and desire. And so I have to step aside, because although the intention is to pull someone out of that uncomfortable place, the impact is I am robbing people of that lesson. I'm robbing a loved one of that confidence. You know, my son is doing, more, and as a parent, instead of, like for example, he was vacuuming the living room and he unplugged one of the fans. And he's never dealt with this fan, so he plugged it back in but didn't know how to turn it back on, and so I had to like give instructions. And instead of getting up and doing it for him, just being patient and give instructions 1,000 times till he gets it, so he can turn it on. And then now he's like, I did it. I can do hard things, instead of I just got it. Because the intention is for it to get done faster. He's not frustrated or uncomfortable or whatever, but the impact is Mommy doesn't trust me. I can't trust myself. And so like, instead of saying you can do hard things, it's a little harder for the parent at first and the child, but at the end of it, prizes that confidence. And so like
Yeah.
that happens in adults too. Like with when we were new parents, and I knew even back then, before I did all that work on getting out the way, I know I'm a hoverer, and I know sometimes my Virgo brain is like, I know the correct way, and I had to get out the way and be like, he has to learn how to be a parent the same way I have to learn how to be a parent. He's gone at work during the day, and there's a lot of things I don't know how to do, and I'm just having to figure it out on the fly. I have to give him the opportunity to do the same thing, because all the intention is for it to get done, for the baby to be changed, fed, comfortable, all those things. The intention is for my husband to not be uncomfortable and frustrated. The impact is an incompetent father.
Or just like a spouse who can't really help
Incompetent.
you. Yeah. Like,
I'm not glossing over that word.
well, yeah. I'm just saying, like, yeah, incompetent. Like,
An incompetent father, and you don't want to cripple the dad. You don't want to disable the dad and tie his hands behind his back and let me just do it. Same impact as with a child. Adults have it too, where we go, okay, so I can't trust myself. My wife doesn't trust me, or my husband doesn't trust me, or whatever. That other parent doesn't trust me. I can't trust myself. I do it wrong anyway. They do it the right way. They know better. I would literally breastfeed Owen, put him in Brian's hands, and I would be gone for an hour and a half to 2 hours. It wouldn't be every other, every 2 hours doing that, but like a couple times a week, I would literally go and I would get a pink drink from Starbucks inside the Target, and I would walk every aisle in the Target and just touch stuff. Just be touching stuff and picking up stuff and looking at stuff. And pink drink is done. It's coming back time to nurse again, and I would come home. And
this
whatever
before COVID too.
Yes, it was before COVID. And so I would come home, and every time I did that, I gave him the opportunity to be a more competent and confident father and partner. So now that my son is older, my son trusts my husband too, because kids be like, let mommy do it, or let daddy do it, whoever the primary parent is, because they don't get out the way of the other parent. And the intention is always in the right space, but the impact creates more pressure on that primary parent.
Yeah.
My son was never attached to me 24/7 to the point where I couldn't hand him to my husband and walk away.
Yeah.
Cluster feeding.
And I just
But other than that,
go ahead. What you about to say?
cluster feeding. That was hard.
Oh no, it's alright. I was just gonna bring back to the relationship side of. I was just remembering like the impact of, like, I would say like this. Like, I think most men, when we listen to our wife's problems, we want to fix it, right? So I learned what it really means to listen, or like you maybe come on complaining about work or a situation, and I'm like, well, all you need to do is so and so, cut that person off, or look at it this
Just
way.
ignore them. Don't let it bother you.
Yeah, don't let it bother. Hey, you gotta get your, don't let them bother you. Get that check. Get that, like whatever it was, and it would be my intention is like I'm trying to help. My intention, I'm trying to help you be enlightened and take this burden away. I think every man, like, that's the problem solving mode, and we don't understand. Well, especially I didn't understand my impact of, instead of just validating, like saying, "Oh yeah, I get it. Oh, that's kind of crazy." Like, I feel for you in that situation. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
And just staying there, and then asking like, what do you need me for? Do you want me are you here for me to listen, or did you want to work on figuring out? Because they just might want you to listen, and they might just want you to just help them, but not in that way. So like, my intent of always trying to give a solution was I wanted to help, but my impact of how I said it and what I did made her, left her feeling like listened to or heard or seen, or just her feelings got pushed over, right? So, and my intent was all good. But that
Always
impact,
is.
that impact, but it wasn't there.
And I think too, it's a good idea when you know the person and there's conflict, you know, whether it's between a romantic relationship or you and a parent, especially us adult children and our parents, and or you and a friend. If you know them enough, you say, "I know this was your intention. I know your heart was in the right place." Or I think to say that too helps to disarm sometimes when you're initiating a conversation, or you're bringing something that is going to initiate healthy conflict.
Yeah.
And it might open the door or set the stage to have a more productive conversation. You know, I know this was the intention, this was the impact, and going forward, this is what I would like to see, or this is how I would like to be treated.
Yeah.
I think is a good idea.
Yeah, because you be like, what? Like, man, all I was trying to do was help you. Like, all I was trying to do is
Don't even,
give you the answers.
because if I tell you how you hurt me and you say all I was trying to do, conversation's not gonna. So if I start with, I know this is what you were trying to do. I know this was your intention. However, this was your impact, and I would like, you know, this hurt me, even though you meant it in meant it to help, and this is how I need to be talked to. This is how I need to be treated. I think it could potentially be more productive.
Yeah, it's more productive, and then like also like having clear expectations, being able to, like I said, have those conversations, because a lot of times we're not asking a question. Like if I'm like, it's just like in loving you, right?
Yeah.
If I have great intentions of maybe I would clean the whole house, or I would clean the whole house, take care of the chores.
I would fuss about something, he would power clean the whole house.
I would go ahead and just knock everything out, so the house be spotless. She ain't got to worry about nothing. She ain't had to lift a finger. The house clean.
Meanwhile, I'm like, sir, where's the quality time?
Yeah, like where's the going out on a date, or where's the hanging out? I'm like, well, dang, man, like I didn't clean up. I'm tired now. Like, man, I won't go nowhere else. Like
now it feels like his effort was not appreciated.
Not appreciated.
But you're right. Asking questions can keep your impact more aligned with your intention.
Yes. Or she like said she was a fairy around the house, replacing things and doing all these things, like, keeping this organized, and then look at me like, oh, he don't appreciate me. And she never asked me, do I feel loved by those things? So her impact was to make me feel loved by taking care of things, little small things, but
making his life easier.
Yeah, making my life easier. But I'm like, oh, I just thought that was something that you were just doing. That was just you.
Yeah. And I think it says a lot. I've had 2 friends recently reach out to me and ask, how can I support you? Like, what can I do? What do you need? And I think just asking, because sometimes my answer for both of them was, I don't know. But then the more like we talked, like I was able to like articulate, because sometimes just there's not really much other people can do, but I do need quality time. I do need to be taken out of sometimes my stressor, just maybe in a fun environment for an hour or 2 or something, like, just refresh my perspective and be around people who I genuinely care about and enjoy being around. But just for people to ask directly, what do you need? Or because if you were to just like send me an edible arrangement, like, oh, thanks for thinking of me, but like,
exactly, but
gifts is not that's the last love language for me. And so like, it would be weird, and so it would be misplaced effort with the best of intentions, but minimal impact of what you think. And so it's a good idea. That was a good idea. Ask questions. What can I do? What do you need? How can I love you or help you or serve you in this season or whatever? What do you need?
I think it feels weird at first because I think of the false expectations that you're supposed to be so close. You're supposed to be mind readers. You know, like both. Like you thinking your woman should know what you want.
Because what I need now is different than what I needed 10 years ago.
Yeah, when we've been in a relationship like for a long, long time. So like, if she, you know, like if I just take her to go bowling or to a movie, that's not like a good date. You know, because when we
First
started.
of all, bowling is a weird date because if it's only the two of y'all are, because I'm competitive. We're gonna play. So like,
Just going back and forth.
yeah, like if we're gonna play games, we can play like the arcade games where we can stand next to each other at least.
Yeah.
While but like the
I mean, I'm just saying the same level of things that you like are just totally different.
Yeah.
You know, Wendy's 505, 4 for 4 ain't it no more.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So you got
it used to be the thing.
It's a different level. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like if you ask how you can show up, and then just come back. Even if you like, just remember, take notes. Hey, this is what that person likes. You can have a greater impact, and that's gonna make you feel better than what you intended to do it for that person.
Yeah.
Because I can have a great idea of a great poem or a great letter and words. She would like them, appreciate them, but she would rather me be like, "Hey, baby, we going on a trip today. We going on a day trip. We going on lunch, breakfast, dinner." And
Get in the car and we could talk about all those words if we just go on a 1 hour drive, just the two of us.
yeah, instead of me spending a whole month coming up with a perfect letter, you know, or the perfect act of service. So like, just to save you energy and save you time, ask those questions.
Yeah. Yep.
So you won't be feeling empty and unappreciated.
Yep.
But yeah, you got anything else to add to that?
I don't think so. I mean, we could get into the whole like when you're parents and you're telling them about your childhood trauma and you can teach them the difference of intention versus impact. But that could be its own episode.
That's a whole nother, that's a whole nother 30, 40 minutes.
I understand. If you're going through it, I get it.
Yes, yeah, that's a whole different, yeah.
Did the best I could.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But, okay, so how did you feel love by me this week?
It's your turn to go first.
Oh, it's my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Let me see, what was it? It's something that you did that you set me up pretty nice, and I appreciated it. Or even the way you cleaned the bathroom this week, I really appreciate that. I did feel love and considered, you know, because it's, especially now, like with me doing my job, you know, cleaning, and I was just like, man, this place is dirty, but it was nice to come and see the effort.
For a little more context, we are living with family, and we are sharing a space with more people than just us.
Yeah.
And I hadn't gotten to put my Rosalind thorough cleaning touch on that space yet. It's been clean enough, but I scrubbed floors and I scrubbed baseboards and I washed walls and, you know, just giving a thorough clean. So people don't think we're like nasty. You're like, she finally cleaned the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Think about that.
Yeah. The way I feel loved by you this week, I felt like I had it until I felt like I had to explain myself. Is that a lesson there? Everything is deep. The way I felt loved this week. Oh, it wasn't this week, but we're filming back to back, so I gave 1,000 for this week, and I should have saved one.
You break the illusion.
I know.
You're not supposed to do that, ma'am.
Yeah. I felt loved deeply by you. Words aren't normally my thing, but sometimes you have a knack for saying exactly what I need to hear when I need to hear it. And a little bit ago, I was feeling beat down, and so many spaces were. When sometimes you have a narrative that you have been given about you, about yourself, from childhood, and you spend your adulthood trying to either confirm or disprove that narrative. And Brian spoke to that in a very specific way. I'm not quite ready to share it yet, but you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. When I hold you.
Yeah, he spoke to it specific way, and I'm not a crier yet. I think I am somewhere deep down inside, but I was told it was a lot when I was little, so I stopped. To the point where my therapist was like, "You need to cry." But yeah, just instant tears, because it was so needed and so on time. So yeah, I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So proud of yourself. You're like, yeah, I did a good job.
I did. But yeah, that's it. That's all we have for you this week, guys. Like I said, ask those questions.
Yeah.
Comment below any kind of things any situations where your intent, where it was even taken for granted or just not taken, or the impact of it wasn't as what you expected.
Yeah.
It's important. Like I said, people are going to see those, and maybe they can learn from it.
Yeah, I think a good way. Okay, so this is. I said before, I want the comment section to be kind of like a community environment, a place to learn. So if you're willing to be vulnerable, if you can comment a time where you intended something and the reaction was not what you expected because the impact wasn't there, it was you missed the mark,
Mm-hmm.
and you're still confused,
Mm-hmm.
comment. And I would I'm really keep the small talk. Let's talk about the trauma and the things that happened. Let's work out the lessons. That's.
Yeah, I'm just saying
I love those conversations.
Yes.
If you want, I'm just saying if you want to,
Yeah.
and open up, just an open dialogue about hey, this is what could have went wrong, and this is if you want advice on how to fix it, how to
I'm just saying, I ain't getting nobody. I ain't no, like I said, we ain't therapists.
I'm not a therapist, but I think there is something to be said about a community of people who are actively working on themselves, who are actively growing,
Yeah.
understanding people in a different way, and being able to pour into others, encourage others in a very specific way that other corners of the internet are not able to. That's what community is about, right? Everyone in the community should have a therapist, and also we should be able to support each other.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and like I said, sharing your stories and sharing those things.
Yeah.
It just helps broaden and expand somebody else's mind,
Yeah.
and it can help them through their situation. Because like I said, I've read things help me through mine, and you just never know. But make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share. You know. But until then, guys, we'll see you.